So it's May 7th, and I'm sitting up here on a rock behind the house where I am getting connected to my rock nature with my bare feet and bouldering around and lying down on these gorgeous mama rocks and hearing the breeze blow through the trees, and you can still see some of the snow that hasn't yet melted. And as I'm seeing the view of the lake from a distance, surrounded by gorgeous trees, I am noticing lately that I've been observant of trees that are dying. And so you can't see it on this one up there, but at the very top, it has started to turn brown. And this browning is happening to a number of trees in this forest because there's a certain species that only grows to a certain height and does not get taller, but rather starves. And here's another example of it. And there are several of these trees that are in process of dying around our house, and it has me somewhat concerned about the fire risks. And so and actually, as you look through the trees here to the lake, you can see the browning has started on some of these trees too. And what the Forest Service is doing in North Tahoe and Incline is to do some culling and removing of the dying and dead trees so that they don't become fuel for a bigger fire. And as they do that, they also go to the underbrush and trim it back. So in the analogy of burning and dying, and my Uranus and Pluto energy are in my 8th house, and they are both apparently supporting this death and rebirth energy that I have, which can also be called transformation. So the dying of the phoenix, going down in flames to be reborn as something else. And for a long time, I have been rather resistant to the idea that we must kill off our existing systems and our existing ways of thinking, of being, before we can transform. But as I'm watching the chaos going on right now, and in my own son and family and dear ones, I am noticing that some of us don't change until it's that bad. And while I think our society has had several possible transformative moments with COVID and with Black Lives Matter and all the times that injustice has occurred, the response has been to outlaw diversity and remove it from all of what the government's role is supposed to be. But with the death of the Pope Francis, who stood for compassion and care for the lesser advantaged, I think there is momentum there, I hope, or the church itself has to die before we can be reborn in spiritual ideologies. Okay, so what does this all mean for me? So I am sitting here in meditative reflection about what my next steps are. We'll give a little bright light on me just to refocus on this reflection on where I'm going and where I'm going with my project. And what I've been doing a lot of exploration and personal discovery, not only in deep counseling with my trusted advisors, but also within my high self. And this resistance to death and transformation that is easy, in line with that, I am thinking about the rebirth of what EIC and Thrive is. So I do have, because I want it to reflect, sorry about that. I want it to reflect me as a person who is North Node in Leo in the 9th house, or is it 10th house? It's actually on the cusp of 9th and 10th. So to me, that in the interpretations that I've been getting advice on, and I have a 200-page galactic astrology reading. Basically, I'm here to help be the path to the future, and I have to get over my fear and phobia about being different or being rejected or being, killed in past lives for doing so. So there's a certain amount of bravery that I need to bring to the table right now. And what that looks like in concrete terms is emerging as, and this came out of like being in the Follies and realizing how much I loved being a part of a creative group of people who are putting on performances to please and make people happy. And there's nothing that is very much at the core of my sageness, and my scholarliness is to be the voice of how do we do this scientifically? Like, how do we concretely reframe our education and community organizations and financial organizations to move into the new age, the new world, the new paradigm of sovereign individuals who are collaborating together. So I want to bring forward that message very loud and clear, that what Thrive Towns are enhancing sovereignty of the individual, empowerment of the individual, especially the young, along with more forces of collaboration and play and co-creativity. And so the way I envision doing this is specifically to Incline, because I have warmed up the environment of Incline since 2011, when we were doing the speaker series on education and we were advocating for IB. And I believe the seeds are there in the leaders that we have. Linda Offerdahl and the woman Stephanie Hampton, now head of UC Davis Environmental Sciences, and then even the provost and dean at UNR Tahoe, and President Sandoval. I think those core leaders, with Ivgid and Michaela Tonking, who was dancing in the Follies, and TK, what's his last name? Tim Kelly, who is now a very leading figure at the Incline High School. So I think there's this and he was a supporter when he was at Ivgid. He was a supporter for what I was advocating for, and his wife works with Richline HR, and she was an advocate. I mean, the energy's there. Tahoe Prosperity Center on Friday is having their annual event of entrepreneurs and innovation, which I think I'm going to go to, even though it's not cheap. So where this messaging, and I met with Jackie Chandler last week and her friend Penelope, who is a advisor to nonprofits in social health and wellness, and also the woman from Follies, who I was dancing with, who works for Tahoe Family Services, and they're talking about increasing their mental health focus. So she loves what the Thrive Town is about. She's connecting me with the director. So there's really cool energy, and I think Mary Danahay is there would step up to coalition this together, get the leaders together. So the thing I'm going to be writing in the next 2 days before Friday is a statement, a front cover, sort of like what Jackie Chandler did with her Earth Stewards Initiative, a game for kids to learn about and take care of the earth. Mine would be, let's take care of our community and empower our youth and all people in our community. And as I said before, that's empowerment of the individual and the collective, so that the goals are, and inside the Follies logo was create, inspire, play, and there's another word that was in their logo, the Star Follies logo. And the idea is to take the concept of Star Follies and expand it into all areas of the community. So that means we have teams that are designing housing solutions, homelessness or economic viability for living here, and career path development for our young people, and playfulness among our community, from our seniors to our youngest. And in that model, this idea emerged last week about Rookies, the restaurant bar that we used to always use for Follies after parties, but has been a rundown dive for a long time and losing momentum. And it's empty now, and it's right there in the heart of the Rayleigh Shopping Center, in the heart of access by all the schools. And it could be a easy access because of bus routes the transit, Tahoe Transit, where you can use an app to get picked up and dropped off. And this could be a place for all young people to kind of co-create together. And as we build out the programming and the kids make food and sell it, and kids make performances and sell tickets, kids make art and sell it there in the gallery. All of this can be a microcosm of what the Thrive Town bigger version could be. So we show how desirable it is, how affordable it is when everybody's chipping in and making it a coalition for public-private partnering. And IVGID would be participant because they would host town halls to answer questions about the community, to inform and dialogue and workshop the future. And kids would present their ideas for possible funding by investors, or to get volunteer hours in giving back to the community, or getting recommendations for going to college, etc. So there's so many aspects of this that we could do in a microcosm way. And then we bring in a few key funders to collaborate and form the coalition, the Thrive Coalition. So the 2 pages that come after this front cover will outline the actions that we can take to have a speaker series, to have at the college, at the university, and to have workshops of designing the future, starting with the design of this facility and the funding of it. So at 15 minutes, I'm going to stop this expose and return to the house and get going on the writing of it, because this also will form the basis outline of the book, or the playbook, that will help communities execute this, starting with Incline. That feels good. And the bird chirping in the background is validating it. So let me know if you have any thoughts or feedback on this, and I look forward to moving forward. blessing.